All right. The next thing is looking at obstacles as opportunities. All right. And so one of my favorite books it's another book by Ryan Holiday, actually. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. Highly, highly recommend everybody reads it. And so basically what it does is it reframes through the entire book how that you look at setbacks and problems. And I never thought that I would need a book like this essentially, because I'm like, oh, whatever, I just roll off my shoulders and I'll roll on to the next task. But seeing how the people in history that have accomplished infinitely more than you have had the same type of mental struggles or the same type of difficulties is so enlightening, because he talks about some of the like great Roman emperors, and the problems that they had are the same types of problems that we have in today's day and age. Plus, we have even more, honestly, with technology and the internet and stuff like that. And so finding ways to make every single obstacle into an opportunity is key. So let's say you have a poor rotation site. How does this become an opportunity? Well, now you're going to have more one-on-one time with the attending, because maybe they're not as busy at this rotation site. So you don't get as much patient experience, but you have more teaching experience. Or maybe you don't have one-on-one time with the attending and you're stuck with the residents all day. Okay, cool. Well, now you can leverage the residents' time to see the tips and tricks that they do to save yourself time as a resident in the future for yourself, to network, ask if they know any research opportunities, see who's a good person to reach out to at other hospitals, because every resident knows people at other hospitals. So you can find ways to leverage the poor rotation site to still be beneficial for you. And the reason I use that specific example is because so many students come to me and they're like, oh my God, my rotation site doesn't have, let's say, an ortho rotation. So how am I ever going to get a letter of rec for ortho? How am I going to match ortho? Or, oh, my rotation doesn't have a residency program. So I feel like I'm wasting my whole third year of medical school. And that's not the case at all. Like my rotation site didn't have vascular surgery, didn't have residents, didn't have a residency, but you still find ways to learn. And so you can leverage literally anything to be an advantage if you look at it as an advantage. So one of the quotes from this Obstacle is the Way book that I always think about is by Marcus Aurelius. And anybody that's been in action potential for a long enough time knows that I'm a huge Marcus Aurelius fan. And so he said something along the lines of, the impediment to action advances the action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And so if you look at everything like that, then how could you not win? You see what I'm saying? And so having like quotes and mental frameworks that you can fall back on is an absolute hack for success. So like anytime that I'm struggling, I'm like, oh, obstacle is the way. That's it. Done. You know what I mean? Like you can just fall back on stuff and think to propel yourself forward. Because it's never going to be perfect. Like no matter where you're at, no matter what opportunities you have, it's never going to be a perfect outcome, a perfect trajectory. So keep that in mind.